My name is Peter Thompson, and this is one of my Myths of Golf series, and this one is about having a wide stance will restrict your shoulder turn. Well, I'm not a surgeon or a doctor. I've had a bad back myself for 50 years, so I'm going to show you now a very, very wide stance, and then we'll see how far I can turn my shoulders around. 90 degrees quite easily. I will now have a very narrow stance, and we'll see how far I can turn my shoulders around. 90 degrees, no difference at all. Try this at home. Get a club or a stick or an alignment stick and feet together, turn round. I can turn 90 degrees, feet very, very wide. I can still turn round 90 degrees. So is it important? Well, the answer is yes, it is very important. I've been teaching now for 54 years, and I've always believed, almost from day one, that your feet are your only contact with the ground. If your feet are wrong, then your knees will be wrong, and your thighs, and your hips, and your chest, and your arms, and your hands, and therefore the golf club as well. So to me, feet are extremely important. Let's have a look at what happens to the club head with a wide stance and a narrow stance. With a very narrow stance, club head comes away from the ground, and the club head is now more or less on the edge of the screen. If I widen my stance, and now turn round, the club head goes off the edge of the screen. So the narrow stance is guaranteed 100% to make your swing too narrow. Watch it again. Narrow stance, club head, edge of the screen, wider stance, club head, way, way beyond the edge of the screen. Clearly I've moved my right foot this way, which makes it go further that way, but it's physically impossible to get a wide arc with a narrow stance. Now what's this? The target line. There's many ideas around at this moment in time about moving the club to the left of the target line or moving the club to the right of the target line, and as long as the face is square, then the ball will go straight. Well, it might. This way will go straight. There's the target line. The ball is going to go straight down the target line. Nice wide stance. Down the target line. Watch with a narrow stance. Watch the club head on the line. It has to come away from the target line. It physically has to. You can't make the club go down that line. Well, you can do, but you'd fall over. So a wider stance will move the club head through the ball, straighter and lower to the ground. That's important. We want to hit the ball forward, not just downwards, just simply forward. Watch it from this side. Narrow stance, club comes up, very narrow, comes back down to the ball, and then it comes upwards again, and again very narrow and in the wrong direction. Back to the wider stance. This is too wide, by the way. Wider, wider, and crucially the club head is lower to the ground. Imagine you're going to skim a stone over some water, and the water's dead flat, got a nice flat pebble in your hand, would you do it this way? Or would you do it that way? I would guarantee you'd all say the wider stance is better, and the reason is, with a wider stance for skimming a stone, that way the stone can hit the water more or less parallel to the water and skip along the water. Very narrow stance, you can't get down very well, you certainly can't move forward. The pebble now is going to go into the water at a different angle. Anybody who skims a pebble across the water will know instantly to go wider and go down so the pebble goes through parallel to the water. Golf swing's the same. Golf swing's the same. Golf to me is the hitting the ball forward game. Simple as that. From a putter to a driver, you hit the ball forward. People will say with a driver, hit it on the upswing, and with an iron on the downswing. Well, I've been looking at some of the stats from TrackMan, and the average angle of attack for the pros on the USA Tour is 2 degrees on the upswing. Only 2 degrees, mind. And on the European Tour, the average angle is 2 degrees down. The average overall is 0. So the average top pro, when they hit the ball, the club is going through not up, not down, simply forward. When you next watch on TV, especially with drivers, watch the width of the stance. They want to be able to get a wide swing, that way, and that way. Wider swing, wider stance, narrower swing, narrower stance. Feet, very important. Aim your feet to the right, then the club head's going to go to the right. We will try and turn it around, and it might go right, straight or left. Aim too far left, and you can then hit the ball straight, but you can't turn around quite so far, so you might lose distance. I guess you're thinking now, well, we're all different, and we are, different heights, different length arms, different length legs, so what is the best width of stance for each golfer? Well, that to me is not a problem. This is how I teach it, width of the stance. This is a 7-iron. Rest the ball, so your right foot is square, pointing it down towards the camera, and then we put the butt of the club on the right instep, and we get the shaft outside the right knee and the club head outside my right hip. That's the normal stance. Forget shoulders. I don't bother with shoulders with the stance at all, because some people's shoulders are narrow, some people's are very, very wide, so you can't work on the shoulders. The width of the stance has nothing to do with your shoulders, it's to do with your feet. That's my checkpoint. Full shot, medium iron. For the longer clubs, and don't forget you've probably got 14 clubs in your bag, including your putter, and for the longer ones, move your right foot out. For the shorter ones, move your right foot in. But get the width of the stance right normally for that one. It's a top tip on this YouTube site, Peter Thompson Golf. Top tip number 11 will explain quite clearly about having your right hip, or the outside of your right hip, inside your right heel. I read an article in a magazine maybe 10 years ago now about a man who was a top golfer in the world for quite a long time, won the Open Championship. I won't mention his name, but the article was interesting. He said that with a wider stance, then you can't turn your shoulders as far, which is what this Myths of Golf video is all about. He then said, which I found quite strange actually, he then said, to hit the ball further, I widen my stance. So how does that work? Normally when you want to hit the ball further, you maybe turn your shoulders more rather than less, but he was saying with a wider stance, you can't turn around as far, but to hit the ball further, he widened his stance. I still can't work that one out. It's just one of the myths. So I'm just going to recap on that. I always like to recap so people get it firmly in their minds what to do and what to practice. Narrow stance, 3 problems. First one, club head comes up too soon. Second one, comes up too soon in the forward swing. So first problem, upwards, upwards. Second problem, narrow stance, too narrow, too narrow. Third problem, narrow stance, club head comes away from the target line really quickly, going back, but crucially it comes away from the target line going forward, unless you try and do that. Well, that isn't going to work, clearly. With a wider stance, club head goes back on a wider arc, goes back closer to the ground, the wider being the crucial thing. Going forward, it will go through more parallel to the ground and straighter, as you will see from this angle. Wide stance, straighter back, not straight, just straighter, and lower, going forward, go through, straighter, and crucially lower. Think about the pebble again. When you hit a golf ball, you need the club head to move along the target line. It's debatable how long for, because the impact time is half a millisecond, by which time the ball has travelled 3/4 of 1 inch and left the club face, so it's gone almost instantly, so you can't control it after that. Having said that, you never want to have a swing, or I hope you wouldn't, where with a very narrow stance, you narrow the arc, the club face is now square for 1 degree in the entire swing, and it then comes away from the target line. So with a wider stance, the crucial impact position, it's not extended, it's still going to be half a millisecond, but you've got far more chance of getting the club head to go through the ball online for longer. There are some DVDs on YouTube, and if you find one about impact time, then you'll see the club head hitting the ball, club head travelling through, dead on line, and the instant the ball has made contact with the club, it's taken off and it's spinning backwards. So the idea is to make the ball go down towards the target line for as long as possible. I hope this helps. I'm sure it will. Wider is better than narrow. It's a myth that you can't turn round with a wider stance. I've just got a new DVD on my computer with Justin Rose on there, and Justin Rose is hitting the ball with the driver, and his feet are probably at least that wide, and it just works. So when you practice next with any club, pitching wedge, 7-iron, 3-wood driver, whatever club you want to use, experiment. Just hit 10 shots with a very narrow stance, and then another 10 shots with maybe a wider than average stance, and see which one produces the better shot. I think I will probably know the answer, and hopefully you will if you can practice that. I hope you do, and I hope it works, and thank you for listening. Thank you very much.